Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. We say to you, Happy Labor's Day. In the United States, we are celebrating the Labor Day weekend, and we hope you are also celebrating with us. Labor Day is very important because it's a day that we give thanks to the people who labor to keep the economy moving forward. So their role is very important. Of course, you guys know that labor is one of the important factors of production. So we want to say labor is ennobling. We pride ourselves on supporting people who work hard every day to keep the economy buzzing like a good engine. So happy Labor's Day. Without further ado, we have noticed that this week the most important news is the Africa-China summit. A lot of African presidents are traveling to China. Of course, you know that China possesses the second largest economy in the world after the US economy. And the economy has slowed down quite a bit, but China has come up with what we've called the Belt and Road Initiative, which has been a strategy to really colonize Africa, if we can say so. I know some of you who love China so much. When we say China is colonizing Africa, you say, oh no, China is not a colonial power. But the way China has been using the Belt and Road Initiative, it is a way to wrap, it's like a snake, an octopus. It wraps its victims. China gives loans to African countries. African countries love Chinese loan because the Chinese don't ask any questions. They don't ask you any questions dealing with human rights. They just come there to do trade with you. What are you killing your people? Nobody will ask you any question. So a lot of African leaders love Chinese loans because they get those loans without any questions asked. This week, so many of them are traveling to China, Beijing, for this summit. They've been traveling all the time to this summit. Why? Because they expect big loans. They are hoping that China will give them big loans, ostensibly to build infrastructure projects like railway roads and so forth. Then they will take that money, they will siphon a lot of it into their private pockets, put it in offshore accounts. So very little of that money actually goes. Sometimes some of it goes to build projects in Africa. A lot of times the projects tend to be like infrastructure, like roads, railways. But you ask yourself, this is a form of modernization, but is this development? For development to take place, we need to really have a stable environment. We need to have peace, what I call Pax Africana. Peace, no more blues. Blues means whenever there's war. And when you look at much of Africa, if we don't have a war going on, we have jihadist activity, which is making a lot of the continent to be a war zone. When you have a war zone, how can you develop your country? It's not really possible. So we are not really against China. The West is against China. They don't want China to take over the world. But that's not our problem. We think Africa first. We want Africans to help themselves. We want Africa to be great again. So we're not really concerned between the two superpowers, China and the United States, who should win. No, that's not really what we're worrying about. We're worrying about better opportunities for Africans. We want Africans to wake up and smell the coffee. They should not just sit and be thinking that China will develop their continent for them. Nobody will develop your continent for you. You have to develop your continent yourself. You have to do that. There's no Messiah. So we sit with all the resources we have in Africa, we sit and expect a Messiah to come and rescue us. Even the people you call your leaders, they still have that colonial mentality where they think a Messiah will come from the heaven, fly from China, fly from Russia, fly from the United States, fly from France, fly from Germany, then they'll come and rescue you. All the time, that's our disillusion. When they realize that these people are interested in their own self-interest, They don't care about the betterment of Africa, which is why we keep emphasizing that let's focus on what is good for us. Let's focus on our self-interest. Let's stop thinking that the foreigners will come and develop us or develop our continent. So that's a fallacy. That's a mistake we make all the time. That's childish thinking. Okay? When you think that these superpowers are going to come and develop your continent, what are you smoking, boy? You're smoking something. They're not going to do that. When they come to Africa, they come for what they can get. And that's what China does. So don't make any apologies for China. China knows what China wants. China strikes deals. Sometimes the deals are not good because the African leaders are improvident, self-serving, greedy. They don't even let their people know about the deals they are signing, only for the people to discover that the deals are terrible. And we're going to show you one country after another, the way most of these leaders are getting African countries into too much debt, and they cannot pay back this debt. So it is up to the new generation to deal with the boatload of debt that has been acquired by the present-day leaders, who can give you the countries, starting from Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Gabon, Guinea, Kenya, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, South Sudan, and Zambia. So those are some of the countries we're going to list on our show of today. Okay? Starting with La République du Cameroon. There's a water project in Bachenga, which we hear the Chinese have just completed. But when you look at that project, how is it really going to help the people? What's the cost of the project? Sometimes these projects are so expensive to the point that the government cannot really benefit. And how are you going to really develop a country when you have a lot of problems? One, 2025 is coming. That's the year Cameroon going to elect a new president. Biya is over 92 years old, but it seems he's still determined to stand for re-election. Why organize elections when you know you're going to win them anywhere? Well, that's just to blindfold the international community that democracy exists in your country. When you yourself, you know that that's just false. You're just playing a game. You are making a mockery of democracy. And that's what is really happening in La République du Cameroon. This week, we're going to focus attention on Amadou Vamouke, who used to be the director of CRTV. He has been held in detention since, I think, 2016, we've been told. And yesterday, we were told that they have increased his sentence by more than 20 years. What? So altogether, over 32 years in prison for doing what? Ostensibly for stealing public funds. Come on, this is a joke. You have Cameroonians, Ferdinand Gongo, Chantal Biya, and all these people who have been stealing the resources of the country. Nobody is asking them a question. But this poor guy, we hear, is a very honest civil servant. For political reasons, they want to destroy his life, and they've done that very well. Laurent Esso, the Minister of Justice, is supposed to stand for justice. But is he standing for justice in the case of Amadou Vamouke, the former director of CRTV? We don't think so. This is political witch hunting. This guy has been kept every time they're postponing his sentence. Postponing. The international community is already making a lot of noise. The incarceration of this guy is not justice. It is injustice. And Cameroonians need to know this, that their government is promoting a kangaroo court. This is not a fair justice system. And this is information that the people need to get as they prepare for their 2025 presidential election in October. Okay? And which is why people are saying that this needs to be addressed, because it is making Cameroon get a very bad name. No press freedom. So many journalists killed or put in jail. So Amadou Vamouke, because he comes from the north, Aijos region, they are punishing him. That's basically what is happening. And Biya has his lackeys who will do what he wants. So everything is teleguided from the presidential palace. So Laurent Esso, Minister of Justice, come on, we should call him Minister of Injustice. So that's it. So even the people in Ambazonia also think this government is not really promoting justice. They have their grievances, and so far it looks like the Biya regime is not really ready to address these grievances. The United Nations General Assembly is taking place in New York in a few weeks, but the people are beginning to make noise. So the Ambazonia Restoration Forces, especially the Fako Mountain Lions, they have been making a lot of noise talking about ghost towns for a whole month to tell the UN that the Ambazonians are still there. They have not gone away. Contrary to what the Biya regime is saying, they are still there. So we have a video, which some of you sent to us, showing the mountain lions talking about ghost towns for a whole month and no school resumption. We are not taking their position. We are journalists, so we are not pro-Ambazonia or pro-Biya regime. We report what is really happening. So take a minute and watch the video of the Fako mountain lions. Watch it.
Good day, Ambazonian. Today, na 21. We na fighter the this of mountain lion. They don't come up for tell the population say, ghost town the camp. Me any man be very careful. And that ghost town the start on the 9th of September. Where me any man tell Pikin say that day me any man be indoor. Because if you find your Pikin not see him, you know say now when the ghost town go down end you pick it for road, we don't die. So they tell our population say on the 9th, we go start for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now ghost town. Saturday and Sunday, road go open. It won't be the other week the same. So it go end on the 17th. So at the tell our population they say, me they not take this one the child's play. Because say any man where he go fumble, he go receive them. So would it warn our people them for Munya, Boya, My 16, Mutengene, Tiko, Limbe. Who don't the poor ghost town would they ever hear? Una the violate them. But the trip, una go pick and run. So the tell una say, Muna be very careful. Who love una na why that would not come today for can inform una so that me any man prepare. Me no say ghost town the camp. Me some man no worship pikin send for school. Tomorrow he can talk say. So me any man be very careful. And would you want our parents them where they work for CDC, Menja, Pondo, Siko, we don't get information. Likumba, we don't get information say it is so. Una the one mele say me work start. We not go there again for military. Any man will violate the ghost stand. We go there now for ye. So CDC, Superman, would you want any man respect himself for that ghost town day? Because any man will come up for outside that day, he go receive on that day anyhow way he see him. Asawana, Asabwam, Esimini.
Thank you for watching this video. Then you can see the way most of the people are saying that we need to have a dialogue, a national dialogue in La République du Cameroon, not the fake monologue the Biya regime organized many years ago to blindfold the public. If you really want to solve big problems in Cameroon, we need a dialogue. And we have a young guy too who presented in one of these grand debates, talked about the need for clemency for all the political prisoners in Cameroon. Paul Biya needs to do this before he exits the political stage. Watch the video of the guy.
3 young gentlemen in the police force are reported to have lost their lives, coupled with a lot of incidents that took place in the northwest and southwest regions these past weeks. I want to use this opportunity to extend my deepest sympathy and heartfelt condolences to the victims of this unfortunate event, and to call on the powers that be to take their responsibility, and I am talking particularly of the head of state. I've noticed for quite some time now that the CPDM is going around with a particular documentary presenting the head of state as a great statesman with a great destiny. Yes, I agree that he's a great statesman with a great destiny, but most importantly, he's somebody that is backed by an extraordinary grace. And I'm telling the head of state who came to power when Cameroon was in peace to make sure that he leaves Cameroon in peace while he's leaving power.
Yeah.
I'm telling the head of state that the grace that he is a beneficiary from God, he should manifest that grace towards Cameroonians at his exit point from the political scene in Cameroon. He should do his best to make that sure that Cameroon has peace the way he met it. And you know, it's very easy to criticize. They say we should always propose measures. I've made a lot of proposals. I'm telling the head of state to proceed to give presidential, just a few seconds, proceed to give presidential clemency to the prisoners whose imprisonment has political connotation. He knows them, starting from the Anglophone crisis, or to those that have been in government, or to those that are in prison because of electoral issues. Give them clemency. Declare ceasefire in the northwest and southwest regions. Organize a sincere dialogue. The head of state for 42 years now has never organized a dialogue. People have always pressured him to organize a talk show, not a dialogue. The head of state should initiate a dialogue and bring Cameroonians together to say thank you to Cameroonians for accompanying me this far, and I'm leaving you back with a peaceful Cameroon and giving you basis to decide which Cameroon you want. The head of state must be able to do that. This is the time. This is the time for him to do that. Yeah. The head of state should take measures to make Cameroon a federal state before he leaves. Yes, please, I have to say this. I have to say this because I have to say this very briefly because all this big grammar we are talking here, we'll be talking like this and people are dying.
Je suis d'accord.
People are dying. We are talking this big grammar, people are dying. And there are some people who are in government here who are saying that everything is under control.
Yes.
There are some people who are in government are saying everything is under control. There are just some pockets of resistances. But it pains my heart to see why people are dying for nothing. President Paul Biya, 42 years in power, it is grace. 91 years on earth, it is grace. And somebody somewhere should be able to tell President Paul Biya to take note of this extraordinary grace that he is a beneficiary of and give Cameroon peace. You want to talk about water, that you say President Paul Biya has kept his promise about water, which of course we will discover that it is not true. But how will people drink water when they don't have peace? How do you expect them to do? The Minister of Secondary Education recently told you that teachers who think that they are in danger in their zones of work should ask for transfer. So those in the northwest and southwest should just ask for transfer, and all teachers should leave the northwest and southwest. So the children should also ask for transfer and leave the northwest and southwest. Do they want to abandon those regions? What is the agenda of government as far as peace is concerned? What is difficult for the head of state to declare a ceasefire and take his responsibility? He has no political interest going ahead. Let him give Cameroonians peace. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, give Cameroonians peace. This is the realization we want from you. For 42 years, you have tried that which you can try. Make sure you apply Article 60.
Thank you very much for watching the video. Next, we take you to Burkina Faso.
Welcome to Ayuk Tax Service. We are tax professionals at your service. Our services include tax returns, payroll, bookkeeping, business planning. We provide professional service, years of experience, and are proud to serve your business. Get your maximum tax refund with 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Contact us at 240-350-1131. Fax 240-556-0535. Or email service@ayuktaxservice.com. Our hours of operation are weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and weekends 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit us online at www.ayuktaxservice.com.
Burkina Faso is dealing with jihadist activity. We've been talking about this a lot, but some of you guys challenge us on our YouTube channel. We'll read the comments. You say we don't say anything good about what Ibrahim Traore is doing. I don't think that's correct. We are just a critical channel. We see what Ibrahim Traore is trying to do. He's trying to help his people. He's trying to fight jihadist activity. We recognize that. And some of you don't want to accept that we are recognizing what he's doing. We recognize it, but we are not hero worshippers. We don't hero worship any African leader. Okay? We don't think an African leader is above criticism. Some of you think we should not criticize Ibrahim Traore. We are just saying that over 200 people were killed. And these are jihadists who killed these people. It's true Ibrahim Traore is trying to solve the problem, but we've been saying that this is the wrong approach to solving this problem with jihadists. We've said it many times. He can buy the caterpillars to help farmers. That's very good. And we recognize the good things that he's doing. What we're saying is we need to look for a more practical approach to deal with this jihadist problem. Now, the Russians, their brigade, are leaving Burkina Faso. Because of the Kurds' invasion by Ukraine, Russia needs forces to fight that flank of their territory. So they are leaving Burkina Faso. How is this going to work out when some of these Russian forces are leaving Burkina Faso? Will this give room for jihadists to take over a bigger swath of the country? Those are questions that we're asking. So if you think we are not praising Ibrahim Traore and you have news that we should share this news with us. That's what this channel is for. We want you to share this news with the public. Call us, email us, share the news with us. We'll make the news available. Okay? Because we are not really supporting one camp against another camp. We are here for truth. That's what journalism is about. Okay? Next, we'll look at Eritrea. How is Eritrea faring? Well, Isaias was one of the guys who attended the meeting in Beijing, the African Summit. But we hear there's no press freedom in his country. How can you develop a country where you don't allow press freedom to exist? That's not nice. Then Ethiopia is not to be left behind. When Abiy Ahmed came to power, we thought he's going to introduce a lot of new changes, make the country better, work towards good governance. But we realize that he's operating more like a dictator. We don't worship any leader. We don't worship Abiy Ahmed. What he does well, we praise him. When he doesn't do something well, we criticize him. So agree with us. If you don't agree with us, send us your information. Let's debate, because that's what intellectual exercise is all about. This channel is a forum for us to debate each other. The only way we can move Africa forward is to have a debate so that we can look for brighter ideas to solve the problems of the continent. Next, we'll take you to Gabon. It is over a year since Brice Oligui Nguema staged his coup d'etat in Gabon. And so far, it looks like, even though he's still a colonial mentality kind of leader, but the people feel like he's trying to make some positive changes in his country. He's very energetic, he dances, he's colorful, and they think he's at least doing something. He's not just sitting there like Ali Bongo doing nothing and just squandering the resources of the country. So it looks like this week, his handpicked guys presented a draft constitution to him. So this draft constitution is going to direct the way the country will move forward. So does this mean that Brice Oligui Nguema is not going to be a candidate? We don't know yet. But already we can see that the way the draft constitution is designed, he wants everybody who participated in the coup d'etat to be granted clemency, so they will not be tried. Then, of course, the president will run for a one-year term that is renewable only once. If the president tries to change the constitution, he will be impeached. Okay, those ideas sound very good on paper. let's see how the president is going to be impeached.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Real treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland, Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
Then what about Guinea? Mamadi Doumbouya was also in Beijing, China for this Africa-China summit. They welcome him enthusiastically. His country has a lot of resources, but is he going to be able to use these resources to help his country? Or is he just going to steal all this money? Already, most of the friends we have from Guinea are not impressed with the way Mamadi Doumbouya is running the country. It is too much of a personality cult and not much else. So let's see the way Mamadi Doumbouya is going to use the big loans he's dreaming to get from China. Let's see how he's going to use these big loans to develop his country. Because his people are already tired. The honeymoon is over. The people cannot wait forever. Okay? Mamadi Doumbouya, can you hear me? Next, we take you to Kenya. Kenya led a lot of protests in Africa the past few months. And these protests were because the people of Kenya, the Kenyan citizens, were tired of being burdened by the weight of Chinese loans. Kenya has been getting a lot of loans from China. They even built their railway linking Nairobi to all the big port of Mombasa. That was great infrastructure project. But the project cost too much. So people feel like it was not well negotiated, because most of these deals are done like backroom deals. The African leaders do not allow the parliament to take over and really broker these deals. The president always unilaterally decides to do the deal by himself. As a result, there's no transparency. That's why the people went to the street in Kenya. William Ruto was trying to raise money from taxes to shore up some of these projects. But the public said, no, sir, we cannot stand this anymore. Okay? So you can see the fallout. So these presidents now in China, are they going to learn any lesson? African presidents don't learn. Look at what even happened in Tanzania. The bulldozer, John Magufuli, refused to endorse any of these Chinese loans. He decided he will not sign any of them. But do you think other African presidents learn any lesson? No. If they learn any lessons, we should have seen what happened in Zambia. Edward Lungu, what did he do? He sold his whole country and nothing really happened. Right now, we hear because of the rains, it's difficult to generate electricity, so the people are even depending on solar energy in Zambia. Okay? So what's going to happen? It's not good news. Then what about South Sudan? Well, South Sudan is one of the newly independent countries created out of the conflict between the Sudanese people. So at least now South Sudan is independent, but it has been difficult birth, because as soon as that country became independent, they started fighting. It's like Africans cannot really rule themselves. But Silver Key was in China for this meeting. So he too is dreaming of big loans from China to develop his country. Ha 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 ha. But then what about Mali? Well, Assimi Goïta was also in Beijing, China. He too is dreaming about getting big money from China to develop his country. Then what about Niger? Yes, Niger this week is chasing out the Germans. So the Germans' operations have ended in Niger. Niger is a poor country, even though it has uranium, which is used by France to power its nuclear plants. Things are really tough since the coup d'etat. Ibrahim Abdurrahman Twani, he's talking a lot about sovereignty. But how is he going to develop his country? It's only tough. So they need the loans from China. Okay? Then what about Nigeria? Oh, Bola Tinubu, he will not miss out. He was at a party. So he was in China, in Beijing, China. He left from the United Arab Emirates. Then he went to China straight. He too is dreaming of getting big money, big loans from China to develop Nigeria. Can you believe? From this show, you can see that all these presidents are dreaming about getting big money from China to develop their country. So is this not a joke? This is a joke, guys. It's really a big joke. Oh, everybody is dreaming of big money from China to develop the country. Where did China go to borrow money to develop China? China developed by depending on their own resources. That's what the Chinese did. For some reason, Africans do not want to depend on their own resources. They think it's easier to depend on loans. Did China come to the World Bank to get money to develop China? No. Did Japan come to the World Bank to get money to develop Japan? No. They decided to raise themselves by their own bootstraps, which is what we think African countries need to learn and start doing. All these loans you're taking from China are not going to help you. You're not going to develop with these loans. Okay? So stop fooling your people. We're opening the eyes of the people. All the loans your leaders are getting would only get you into more debt. They will not develop your continent. Okay? The United States was a colony. Did the United States go to the World Bank to borrow money to develop America? No. So we need to learn the same lessons. Look at modeling, the modeling of excellence. If you want to develop, do what other developed countries have done. Look at the Asian tigers. They were at the same position during the early 60s, the days of independence. But they've been able to learn. I even remember when I read Kwame Nkrumah's Imperialism, okay? Neo-colonialism, the last stage of imperialism. This was a forewarning to Africans. But did they learn any lesson? No. That's why the white people say Africans are dumb, they never learn, and they will never learn. So should we be pessimistic? At least we are talking to you, the young generation. Try to make things different. Try to make Africa great again. Try to be different. First, start by helping yourself. We're going to develop a live show, and we're going to be inviting a lot of you guys to participate so that at least once a month, we'll engage each other. You'll be on the live show to share your ideas. Then we'll be able to accentuate the live show with our TV show. So send us your information. We're going to start promoting the live show very, very soon. So if you want to be a guest on the show, let us know, because we're going to make things open for everybody who wants to participate. Okay? So we need solutions that can move Africa forward. Bye-bye.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.